What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you are watching TWA Motorsports. And just like the thumbnail says, guys, today we are getting the new front bumper, the new lower valance, and the new painted bumper cap on this truck. Look, we got a lot of stuff laying around the shop. Like I said in video a while back, just trying to eke my way through the stuff that we've got here. Okay, so look, this bumper has seen better days, as you can tell. It's got some, it's been pushing some stuff, I suppose. And I wanted to get rid of this top cap. It's all scratched up, but I wanted a painted one anyway. And you could see, guys, these have a texture in them. And I showed you in that video a while back, my painter, I actually bought a new GM one. And then I had my painter sand the texture out, paint it. And so we're gonna be installing it today. We'll probably be doing a little cleaning on the backside too. I honestly, guys, have not taken a cat eye bumper off, so we will probably be learning together as we go. I do know that back when I worked at a GM dealership for probably about 3 or 4 years, and that's when these trucks were being produced new. And all the time we adjusted bumpers, because if you'll notice, a lot of these cat eye trucks, the bumper is like sunk down in the back. So it's pretty common for that to happen. This one is no different. Now look, guys, I think a lot of that is if you kind of push up against something, it's gonna bend some brackets or move some brackets around. So we're gonna try to adjust that at the same time. Hopefully our new one doesn't set like, kind of like the truck setting right now. But anyway, let's get started, guys. I think where I'm gonna start is, it'd probably be easiest if I pulled the grill out of this thing, I think. You don't have to do this, but when I'm putting my new bumper cap in, I don't want to risk scratching it up against this grill. So we're going to do that first. I'm pretty sure I can get away with just taking the leading edge ones off. With kind of the pry tool here. Guys, up until recently, I didn't have a set of these, and I always thought I didn't really need a set, but I'm telling you, they come in so handy. The other thing I'm having issues with is, guys, we're gonna have to replace the battery on this thing soon. And I actually think the alternator might get replaced at some point too. We're having issues with it staying charged up. So I don't know if it's got a little parasitic drain somewhere or something staying on, or if it's just the battery looks pretty old. The alternator looks original. But we got another modification coming soon that's going to require us to do something probably to that system. All right, I think I can pull this out without having to take all of that loose. Yeah, should be able to. Just like a Lego truck. Only 6 clips that hold this whole front end together. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, see how far that goes underneath? I think that'll gain us some access. I may even take these out and unplug those. Okay, I'm not taking those out quite yet, but I don't know why I was thinking you could get this out without the grill out, because there are bolts. You can see the upper one and the lower one. So we got 2 on this side. We've got 2 on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead, grab, I think those are 15 or 18s. Let's get those out first. Now that we have those 4 out, probably should have done those last and these first, but I'm gonna take out just that 15, and those are 15s up there, by the way. I'm gonna take this 15 out right here instead of these 2. We may have to bang around on this to try to get it to line up when we put the new bumper on, but for now, let's just take the single 15 out, and then the bumper should be completely loose. Let's see if I'm right. Hey. All right. Well, it's up there. Let's get it over here out of the way. I'm gonna take a look at some stuff on it anyway. The good news is we can just beat the crap out of this one. I think, however, we're gonna have to take some bolts off of it, because I'm pretty sure that my new bumper does not come with the brackets. Okay, so the brackets that actually go on the inner, in fact, I know it doesn't. So we're gonna have to take that cap off. Oh, that sucks. They got really creative here with zip ties, And that's some baling twine or baling wire to keep the front lower valance on. So that's interesting. But we've got to get that off there. So I'm going to go through and I guess cut a majority of the zip ties, and on these corners here, I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can see that in the shot. These are 10 millimeters that we need to take out, and we need to keep these clips. And then we're also going to need to probably keep the clips that are in there. I don't think, I may have some new ones, but if not, we don't want to toss this quite yet. So we need to get this off to get the bottom bolt out. It's hidden back behind there. And then we're going to have to take a pair of probably needle nose pliers and press these together and get this top shell that I had painted on the new piece. We need to get that out of place too, because the other bolts are hidden behind that. Well, when I cut all my zip ties, I only have one left. Or there's only 2 clips that actually made the cut out of this whole ordeal. So obviously they've hit something back in the day, and zip tying it was their best method of hooking it on. So we'll get these 2 clips out, and at least that piece should be free. Out with the old junker. Seen better days. Don't forget to take your clips off that lower valance. I completely forgot. And then you'll notice there's one right here that has broke away. So there is one in the center also, but now I'm kind of I'm going to get that one off here in a second, but I'm kind of working on getting this outer shell off. So what I'm doing is using my needle nose pliers, pushing this together, and then I'm pulling on that outer shell. We'll just work our way around. We have to tip this thing up. So I've got some leverage here. And we can break this one, you know, so that helps. There we go. We got most of that loose. There are so many rocks. This guy was obviously in a rocky environment, but we're gonna work our way down and get this piece off next, and then we'll have access to what we need as far as getting the brackets loose. Got that thing off with all the dirt. One thing to keep in mind, guys, is if your new one did not come with this, which mine did because I bought a GM one, you're gonna need this filler panel, okay? Hard piece of plastic keeps that from dipping down because it's so tall. Look at all the dirt that came out of this corner, but now you can see what I'm talking about by they're being covered up. So these look to be 15 millimeters that hold our brackets on. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the middles have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those things. So let's knock those out real quick and we'll get those brackets off. I'm going to attempt to keep the brackets on the side they go, if that makes sense. So I don't know if they're stamped or whatnot, but just try to keep them in the order they came off. I may go lay them in front of the truck, even though I'm really wanting to probably paint them. I'll have to figure out a way to mark them or something. The last thing is, if you do not have the clips that hold the bottom valance in place, this is a good time to snag them out of here. For some reason, it's like the aftermarket ones don't want to fit. So I like to get these when I can. I can generally find the centers, but for some reason, like all the aftermarket ones I've tried in the past, it's like they don't hold into place. Don't know what the deal is. So when you've got the factory ones available, try to use them. So we'll go through and get those all out, and then we are completely finished with this old nasty bumper. So you guys are aware of my OCD, and now that we've got everything disassembled, I've got the brackets kind of laid out. I am going to spray these with some like Rust-Oleum, but I need to clean them up first. I've got all the bolts over there. I'm grinding them down on my bench grinder. You guys have seen me do that here lately. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take these two 15s out because I wanna paint this bracket as well. And then I've got some cleaning that I want to do, like in this area, you know, like get all this, maybe some of this dust off and just make things look a little nicer, you know, better than the way I found it. But guys, look, there was something I was going to do on this in a later video, but this one may break up into multiple parts now because, for one, I'm going to have to wait for the paint to dry. But the second one is I want to put electric fans on this. Now, I bought the harness, the factory style harness, off of a guy off eBay. He randomly lists them. I tried to put his link in the description, but I think he goes out, scavenges some out of salvage yards, repins them, fixes them all up, and then installs or lists them for sale. And so they're not like, it's not a company that makes them. They're actually the stock one that he's redoing and making sure they work. So because it's easier to get to like the ground, this is where the actual piece would ground. I think it makes sense to like make a combination video here and do all this stuff at one time. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But for now, I'm going to go ahead. I got to finish up cleaning up bolts. I got to get these two brackets off. I'm going to sand these. And when I say sand, guys, I'm just going to use a Scotch Brite these up, and then just put a quick coating on them. But then we will cut in when I start to clean and start to disassemble a little more for the electric fan conversion. Well, let me show you how stuff snowballs here, guys. I was painting the bolts, right, for the brackets on the front end, and I got about half the brackets painted, and I decided, since I had the POR 15 out, I wanted to coat all this stuff. So we've got our spindles, the shackles. Remember I said I bought this a while back for the drop on the front of this truck. And then these are the standoffs, the factory standoffs. I cleaned those up and painted them as well. I had to buy those used. You cannot get those new anymore. But you can also see some of the brackets that I got painted, and the bolts, I've got them randomly hanging places. But now that we've got some of those painted, I still have two more that I need to paint over here. And that's this here. And I told you I was going to cut in when we started cleaning, but I think at this point I'm going to go ahead and remove these other clips and get this piece out of the way. And then we're going to start probably doing some of that cleaning. I may go ahead and take the radiator shroud out. And in order to do that, I think it'd make my life easier if I took this out of the way first. So I think I'll do that. Just a flathead here, pull that guy out of the way. That'll give me a little more room to get the bolts and stuff that hold this guy in. I was able to get the little clips out. See, there's one there, one right down there, and then there's two 10mm up top. And of course, like I said, I got the intake off, but now this thing is loose, and hopefully we can drag it out of here. Now, normally, if you have room, you can take your lower off. Look, mine's been hit before, as you can see. But anyway, we need to get the fan off, and this thing's a monster. So I'm hoping, I've got a wrench that's big enough to fit on that. Sometimes you get lucky and you can just tap the top of the wrench. We'll give it a shot here. If we can, that's the way we'll do it. I have a feeling though, I'll have to get my air hammer out and we'll just unscrew it that way, but we'll give it a shot. So no dice with the wrench. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my air hammer. And if we get on the unscrew side of that, generally that'll knock it loose. This one's probably been on there for a long, long time. But we're gonna give it a shot anyway. I hear my compressor going, but guys, this works every single time without fail. Screw this thing off here. Bingo. Take this big bulky fan out. Once the fan's out, you can see we got the bottom radiator shroud out. Look at that thing. It's definitely been touched before. Now we got a ton of room in here. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna go grab my fans because I got a set of stock fans. And guys, in order to make this happen, you gotta have the bigger radiator. There's a 28 and a 34. You gotta have a 34. Well, all the 3/4 ton trucks should have a 34, which this one does. And you can see I've got my electric fans, and we're gonna do some cleanup on that, of course, but let's drop them down in here. Make sure that they work. And they should. It's definitely a tough fit. Oh guys, I'm gonna have to go past this mounting tab over here first to get them in. I don't know if I want to put them in and then take them back out. They're gonna fit, so I think I'll clean them up first and then we'll drop them in. At this point, I've got the fans all cleaned up, all the dirt out of the cracks and crevices. These kind of fade. I'm not gonna put like any kind of coating on that, guys. They're gonna be under the hood. But what I would like to do is I'd like to test these. I didn't test them when I bought them, but I've got a battery over there. I'd like to hook up a positive and negative with little alligator clips. We're gonna try that in a second. I did clean a little of this area back where the fans are gonna go up against, and I kind of cleaned off the radiator hoses a little bit. So let's get a battery over here, see if these things will actually work, and if they do, then we're gonna go ahead and get them just dropped into place. They're literally gonna drop in. You're gonna have to kind of maneuver back and forth, but they'll go in. Let's give it a shot here and see if we can get these clipped on. I think we can. I need some longer leads. Got an extra battery here. Let's just make sure they work. Yeah, that one's good. Now let's make sure this one works. And these, I think, are polarity. I don't think it matters which way you hook them up. As long as they get power and a ground, they should go. Perfect. Let's put them in. See that I've got them in. It takes a little bit to clear like the trans lines and stuff, but if you kind of take them in a little bit of an angle, clear one side, the little tabs that hook in, but man, they fit nice. I am gonna have to switch over. You can see that mine came with a new clip, but get all this clipped in, but we need to put our 10 millimeters in up top. I'm gonna go grab those, snug those down next. Now guys, I really think the only way to do this justice on the front is to take the lights out. I wasn't really planning on doing that, but I think I'm going to now. I think it just makes sense. There's a lot going on, I know. But we can unplug this stuff. Just plugs into the factory outlets. And we'll have to obviously hook it all up and make sure everything's facing the correct way. I had some issues. It was pretty polarity specific. When I hooked this up, it didn't, for some reason, this didn't want to light up or the turn signals didn't work. So we'll just have to troubleshoot that. I just think this is the easiest way to get this stuff clean. So I'm gonna go ahead, take the headlight out as well, set these aside, and we're gonna start that cleaning process, at least on the face of the truck. So kind of what I'd like to do here is just kind of start at the top and, you know, work our way down. I'm just using some, I think this is simple green actually. So, you know, we're gonna spray it down. We're gonna use our brush here to kind of agitate things. Then we're gonna go back and wipe it. How much time am I gonna spend here? Not really sure. It just depends on how it looks as it starts to dry. If it looks like it needs another wipe down, then we'll do that. If it looks pretty good, then we may call it good. I don't know. But, I don't know, guys. It seems like when I take stuff apart, I like to clean it. I didn't do this when I did the headlights just because I was trying to get that video pumped out. And normally I would have cleaned these buckets that the headlights set in. The other thing I'll do is obviously before, I think it'll be, you know, pretty dry before I plug the bulbs back in. But, you know, if I get anything in the plugs, I mean, because chances are some of that probably sprayed in the plugs just then. We'll go back and blow those out. But I think, like I said, it'll be a minute before I hook them back up. We will probably time lapse this and see how it looks. I'm gonna pull this plastic protector off so we have a little more area to clean behind it. Yeah, those broke. I assume they would. Just how my luck goes, but we'll get some new ones. That's not a big deal. They're just the Christmas tree style clips. I don't know how important this thing is, but what I will tell you is that it needs cleaned really bad. I think I need to go down a size on this guy, but our outside air temp sensor is right here. We'll need to unhook that. I'll get a flat blade screwdriver, unhook this. That actually clips into this. And then these guys go up and clip on the sides. So we'll get that out of the way. I'm gonna use a drill brush on this guy to kind of clean it up really well. But like I said, there's some area behind this because I'm wanting to do the front of the frame with some POR 15 while I've got all this apart before we go back together with those painted pieces, you know, the bumper brackets that we had. So let me give that a shot too. Anyway, let's get these clips out and get this out of the way and continue our cleaning process. Now, well, this is okay. I want to go ahead and remove this bracket down at the bottom for a couple reasons. One, like I said, I want to paint part of the frame with the POR 15, but I really don't have a good way to get it clean other than taking it outside and actually power washing it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hook the air intake back up just temporarily. I'm leaving the lights out. We're going to pull it outside. I'm going to power wash the whole front of this thing. It's a nice day out. It's really windy, but I won't show you guys that. But I think that'll be, I'm going to let it sit out there and dry, and then I'm going to probably scuff these areas right here where the paint has kind of fallen off, kind of lightly scuff it with maybe a Scotch-Brite. And then I'm gonna shoot it with some flat black Rust-Oleum, or not, some semi-gloss, sorry, not flat. Don't know whether I'll do that. I'll probably do that outside if I can find a spot where I can get out of the wind. But I think the next thing you guys will see, we'll have this painted. The front will be, for the most part, clean. I may go over it one more time with like the brush like I did and maybe a cleaner towel. But that's where we're at right now. It is windy. I got this all cleaned up. You can see that I sprayed the center. Look how much better that looks. I don't even know that it's showing up because the backlighting. But I'm going to start coating some POR 15 on the frame horns here. And I'm probably gonna do that little bar. That's why I took that lower plate off. But anyway, I'm gonna knock that out. I won't bore you guys with the time lapse on that, but just regular POR 15, a cheap brush. And let's see if we can make the rest of this look better. Let's take a look after I've got the whole front painted with both just some semi-gloss black. That's what I did on this guy. Looks pretty good. And I also got the frame horns lower all the way down to just in here, done with the POR 15. It looks pretty good, I think. And so I'm gonna let this dry overnight and we're gonna come out in the morning. And guys, we are ready for some assembly. Now that I've got all the brackets painted, you can see I've got those setting out. I've got the two others drying over there, and then that piece, I painted the bolts. I am ready to assemble the front end. However, remember the whole deal is I was gonna use this, I need that ground. So maybe I need to wire this first. That may be the next thing we do, is start taking some stuff out to get the wiring for the electric fans in actually. For the electric fan wiring, we need to do a couple things. First, we need to get these 10 millimeters out that hold this crossbar in. We need to get the battery out, so we need to unhook the battery, which probably should have been done already. We need to get this box out, and in order to do that, we have to take out the 13 millimeters that hold it to the cab itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock the 13s out of that, the 10s out, get the battery unhooked and out, and then actually, we'll take this off the top of the box. We're gonna clean all this. You guys know how I am while we're in here. So we're gonna clean all this while we're in here. But let's get all this stuff knocked out first. Gotta get this clip off, which I already did. It just slides on, so you can push it back and then slide it off. I guess it slides towards the front of the truck. That's loose. And we got all of our bolts out that have the brackets around them that hold this in. So now what we need to do is there's a set of clips. There's a clip back here that you push back. Okay. There's also two clips. You can see the ends of them poking through right there, and another one on the other side. We need to pry that back and get this box out. So the fuse panel itself will stay, but the box itself will come out that's around it. I have been cleaning on this thing a little bit, kind of in the battery tray area and up here. But guys, I think this is where we're gonna end this part of the video, or at least this video on this thing. I've got some cleaning to do, but there's something else that popped up that I think I want to install while I've got all this stuff apart. So, you know, the initial goal was to get the bumper on and to get that all tidied up. But like I said, now I've decided, well, let's put the electric fans in. So we did at least get the electric fans in. We're gonna be wiring them in the next video, hopefully, and then adding the other thing, which you will also see in the next video. But like I said, we got a lot accomplished. Got the frame coated, or at least the frame horns in the front section. Got this all painted, looking nice. Got the fans in. Got all the bumper brackets painted, the bolts cleaned up. So we have made a little bit of progress. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the progress on this thing. Like I said, in the next video, we are going to continue on with what we are doing here. I'm gonna have to break this up into a couple videos because I'm gonna wait on a couple other things to come in. But if you are enjoying this progress, please, like always, go down there and smash that thumbs up button. Guys, if you are not subscribed, go down there, hit that subscribe button. Of course, like always, ring the bell notification. That will notify you every single time we drop a new video on this truck or something else. And stay tuned to see what we work on next.